in the awareness that we are under that divine anointment. And here there is that was waiting and is waiting to meet us. He is the teacher, he is the way shower, he is the great I am. He says, I am the way. And he is here to point the way, to guide us, guard, direct, and protect us. And in the awareness that we are gathered together in this unity of consciousness, we know that we're here to receive that which we have already received on the way. When you arose this morning, you were in the garden. You were in the garden of the soul with a sense of expectation to go somewhere. And that is this place, but it is not a physical place. It is a place in consciousness. And so you came here today in a state of mind of readiness, a state of mind of having already received that which is already done in your life. That prayer request, that prayer goal, that aspiration, that you desire to achieve, that you desire to let go. A healing in any area and aspect of your livingness and in your life. It is already done. How do I know? Because you came here expecting to receive that which has already been answered and that which is already done. That's our belief. That's our faith. And so as I open my mind and receive that which is downloading in this moment in the way of a message or a lesson, I know that that which I need to say is only that which will be said as I loose my tongue and surrender it and give him the power and the control. And the words that go forth out of my mouth are just like Isaiah said, the words that go forth out of my mouth, they're not mine. They are of the Father who speaks through me. I just say what I'm listening to. And those words are divine seeds of power that fall on fertile soil, receptive soil. That which speaks is that which hears by means of your ears, and in that is the perfect agreement for you said, where two agree. As two agree, as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done. The two that is in agreement is not two persons. It is your subconscious mind. And the conscious words that goes falling out of my mouth, you're receptive. It's a suggestion, and you are, through the power of transformation, suggestion into auto-suggestion, receiving it and accepting it and agreeing to it. And in this agreement, it's done. The two touch and agree. I don't know how, you don't know how, but there's no speculation as to how. The Father within you, which is the subconscious mind, receives the impression of this thought, receives the suggestion, and acts upon it. How it comes to pass ain't my business. I have no need to know. I just let go. You just let go and let go. We accept the realization, the activization, the demonstration, the manifestation of this truth as we sing together. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Come on. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Amen. And so it is. Thank you, sister. All right. Last week my topic was I stand at the door and knock. And so let's continue from that energy, from that vibration, from that lesson. And the topic from the same material, which is from At Your Command by Neville. The reason there's a different pass out is because I just excerpted different paragraphs and different segments of that chapter. So it's organized a little differently in order to make a point. And the topic that I'm going to use is agreement is the same as awareness of being. On your paper it says agreement equals awareness of being. Equal means same as, right? So what we're going to be talking about here today is agreement. We're talking about awareness of being. We're talking about it from the point of view of helping you to understand better and better how to practice what Neville is talking about. Neville's teaching is very practical. It is a practicality. It's about practicing. It's not about theory at all. It's not about some nebulous, abstract stuff. Neville is all about how to. Haven't you seen that? Neville is about come and go with me. Come on, let's do this right now. Let's do this together. All of Neville's writings is about how to. Now, I am simply a coach. You're coming here to meet the coach. I'm the facilitator. I'm the motivator. I'm just encouraging you to do what you are reading, not just read. It's about no reading. This is about doing. And as you do, you understand. I got proof. I got proof. I got proof. This stuff works. I got here week by week telling you what's working. Now, I got proof in relationships. I got proof in material supply provision. Comfort in my supply. Comfort in my peace of mind. If I came here every week and talked to you about the transformations and how the stuff works. Now, I also got proof that I got some situations that still have not worked. In the evidence, in the outer world, but in my spirit, in my soul, in my heart, hey, you don't hear me complaining and whining. I don't be complaining. Now, all of this, nobody heard about the change until it changed, huh? Hey, you know about the kidney failure. You know about the what else? You know about the high blood pressure. You know about whatever, but I can tell you about these that was going on at the same time as the kidney failure, as the high blood pressure, and as the this and as the that. During the same time, I think I noticed a couple of you looking at me a few weeks ago. And I was doing the best I could to walk in here. Did you see me limping a little bit? I was in excruciating pain. One day, my car had a check engine light. There's a car repairman around the corner from me. I was probably less than a mile away. I wanted him to take a look at it, and so I went up there and I dropped my car off. I left home with the intentions of walking back home because it's, I would say, probably half a mile, no more than that. But I wanted to press through the, I could see what this was going on in the bottom of my feet. You know, especially the level. And it's sensitive. First, I couldn't walk from my bathroom, from my head to the bathroom. I'm walking like an old man. But this day I decided I'm going to, this had been going on for a couple of weeks or so. And then I was going to walk home, and then my kid at home had already expected me to give him some money for something that morning. And I left before he got up, and when he got up and realized that I was gone, he called me and said, "Where are you?" And I told him I was walking home, so I said, "I'll be there shortly." So he waited. But then I was waiting too long. He called again, and I decided, well, if you wanted, you better come and get me. I had to give in. I couldn't put one foot in front of the other. The pain was so excruciating. But I had been working on every day, in every way. I am getting better and better. Then the ego said, "You better call the doctor. You better make an appointment." I said, "No, I got to go to the doctor." When do you go to the doctor?
When you're ready.
3 people have learned the answer. I'm going to ask that question again. When do you go to the doctor, and why are you going? Still scared. Why do you go to the doctor?
We can find out what's wrong and you come home and take care of it.
I'm glad you said that so I can correct it. Yes. She said, so that you can go find out what's wrong. So that you then can come home and take care of it.
Right.
Absolutely not. You're going to help. You got to take the classes all over. You got to go to summer school and still take an extra 4 weeks. No, that's not why. You are going for your appointment for a confirmation of what is not there. You're going for a confirmation of what your work is done, is finished, and that you've achieved what you're praying for. You're going for a confirmation that it's already done. Sometimes it's already done and you don't know it. And sometimes you just want to use their measurements and their tools, their blood pressure monitors and their lab reports and their x-rays and all that stuff, just for an indication to you how far along you are in your progress, that it's already, if you need to come home and, hello, look at me. Now if you need to come home and do something else, that's okay, that's legitimate. So that you know what you need to go back and work on in your mind, in your consciousness, in your prayer. But first of all, you're going for a confirmation that it's already done, and just check on your progress, just to see how powerful this prayer is working in your life. You go with the right mindset. But if you go with the wrong mindset, you're going to get confirmed what you're going there to be confirmed. I'm serious. This is serious. We need to increase the dosage. We need to cut this out. You need to prepare. Get your life in order. No. So, let's keep going with this. About a year ago, I was shopping at Kohl's, and I saw these shoes. I was shopping for my little nephew, and I saw these shoes, and they look comfortable, don't they? They're not for me, they look old shoes. So, I said, those things look comfortable. I bought them and put them on the shelf there, because I dress like you dress, I dress young. But I put them on the shelf. I said, because I could wear them out the house. Never use them. And then here I am tipping and can't walk, in this bottom of the feet. So I decided I wasn't going to the doctor until I was ready to go. Then something happened. I had those cell phones, we can turn our phones off. Then what happened is I told you last week of you weren't here, but I bit my lip. And as a result, it caused a canker sore in my mouth. And then I went to the doctor for that because it wasn't going away. And while I was there, the doctor said to me, because I'm leaving something out, is there something else that I can do for you? And I said, oh yeah, by the way, a week or two ago I remember the pain is subsiding. It's just under my feet, it's gone away. But I decided while I'm here, let me tell you what I went through with my feet, And we talked about it. She said, well, it looks like you got that under control, so we went on to something else. The reason that she didn't have to deal with it or diagnose it is because I started wearing these. I'm just, every day in every way, I am getting better and better. I'm listening to my body. I'm listening to my spirit. And spirit is guiding me and said, where are these shoes? And then she said, stand over there and let me look. And as I stood over there, she was observing my feet, and she said, I was just looking at your arch to see if your arch perhaps has fallen. And she said, oh, you're okay. Do you see what I'm saying? But what solved the problem? Changing shoes. Shoes with better support. But this could have been diagnosed as something else, because she named some possibilities of where it could have been. Now, if I hadn't done this, I believe that the doctor would have chose from that list of the alternatives. She said that it could have been, but she said, oh, but it seems like you got that under control. What I am saying is this, that it was already done, but I could have allowed it to morph into something else according to what I would have planted in the doctor's mind, and the doctor would have confirmed what I was telling them based on what I was feeling and what they had a list of what it could possibilities what it could be. Instead, what happened? It ain't nothing till I call it. The umpire is in your mind. What do you choose to call it? Remember, the doctor said, is there anything else that I can help you with? I said, oh, and by the way, I've been having, now I've passed, in the past, which means in the past few weeks, I have not been able to sleep, waking up in the most severe pain in my radiating down my arm, and then crossing over to the other side, and sometimes radiating through my body. But what gave me relief was remembering my mother's condition, which was chronic arthritis. When she passed at 94, the main condition that she had was arthritis. So severe, but she was not in pain, she was comfortable because they had given us the fentanyl patch, which is a narcotic, to put on the back. And based on that, it controlled her discomfort. But I could remember her description of her symptom and her description of her pain. The radiating sensation and the pain and the throbbing and carrying on. That's what I had. You hear what I'm saying? Now, I remember a few years ago, before she passed, that sometimes I would go to bed with that radiating pain and that chronic sensation, just as she subscribed to the arthritis. So I identified it as arthritis. But also from my years of practice in counseling and my years of experience in our teaching, I know that there is always a spiritual, emotional cause behind effects or symptoms. And my mind had associated that with my training is resentment, old hatred, old resentment, and et cetera, settling into your consciousness. So then what I did, every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Come on now. Okay, so I practice listening to my spirit for guidance as to what I should do, what I should let go, or whatever. I had no idea. And somehow, I can't tell you where it came from, what I was preaching, what I was teaching, because it's been several years ago. But the insight came to me dealing with resentment. I know where this is coming from. Because I outwardly, objectively had resentment for my mother for years. Towards my mother. Now, there is nobody under this sun who could love my mother, who did love my mother more than me, or whoever did anything more for her than me, because I took care of her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But I carried this resentment for years. So finally, I'm looking at her dealing with this, and now I'm dealing with the same thing. I knew that I had already understood that the source of my mother's chronic arthritis was exactly that. Resentment and old hatred. And she had a reason for it. But she couldn't process it, as I did, because I had a different understanding. Well, I decided I better practice my understanding. So I got in touch with my resentment towards her, and it was very clear to me, made very clear to me what it was. And it was my long time resentment of how she had manipulated my life over the years in terms of being the parent of these children that I raised. Because early on, she would always say, because their parents forced the kids on her, and they're here where I am trying to take care of her, I had to, at the same time, take care of them. So as they were produced, I was taking one after the other to take them off of her hand because she couldn't handle it. But yet, I thought that if she could control her situation and not fall prey to this, and not be subjective and susceptible to this, because she was bringing those problems and load onto me, when she could have stopped. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so I resented her for that. because she had a way of psychologically manipulating me to feeling that that was my responsibility, but they're the only father you know, kind of thing. You know how we do? You know how you mothers are. So, so what happened was, I fell into that. But I was doing it for years through love. I understand. But here's what happened. Here's where my healing came. Through revelation, through insight. So the point is that I'm sharing with you is that, do you want to be healed? He says, you know the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Then there's somebody said one time, you can't handle the truth. So if you want to get rid of the arthritis, you want to get rid of the blood condition, you want to get rid of the this, you want to get rid of the unfree, you want to get rid of it, come on, think about it. Can you handle the truth? And can you deal with what Spirit is telling you it is that you need to let go? Can you deal with what Spirit is telling you that what you need to start doing, stop doing, or whatever? No, we don't want that. We just want the healing. What I needed to do was let go of the resentment. What I needed to do was let go of the hatred. And Spirit revealed to me this. You hold resentment towards her for what you tell her that she did. Now, and your position towards her was that she says that she had no choice. And you said she did have a choice. She chose that. Are you following?
Yes.
But look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. You are doing what you are accusing her of doing, saying that she had no choice. But you're doing this, you're making the same choice that she made. Under the guise that you had no choice. You had a choice too. But look what you're doing. Are you following me? You're doing what she did. Saying that she had no choice, and now you're doing it out of choice because you said you have no choice. Are you following me? That was my healing. She did what she had to do. What did I do? I did what I had to do. So give it up. So who do you need to forgive? Yourself. Not her. Now let me tell you what happened. From that moment forward, never a tinge of pain or arthritis in my life and in my body. Never! Every day and every way. So it's when your perception to healing is in your perception. When you change your mind, you change your life. When you change your mind, you change the condition. Because there's nothing to support it. At your command, the chapter that we're working from through today is things live only as long as I am aware of being them. Things live only as long as I am aware of being them. What was I being in that moment? Resentful. Angry. Mad. So as long as I was aware of being that, that's what I was. As long as I was conscious of that and being that, then arthritis was my symptom, pain. But when I gave it up and realized you're angry at the wrong person, and you no need to be angry at yourself. Embrace. When we talk about embrace and forgive yourself, and that's what it happened. Well, that was years ago. Now here I am, revisited by arthritis in the past few months. Radiating pain. Now, what did I do? She got a lot of Tylenol left around my house. Not these. I've been sucking them Tylenols for the past 6 weeks. So. I go to night, and I wake up at night and have to take one to go back to sleep. All right, and then what happens is that I learn now since I'm monitoring and regulating this thing, but if I take one every 4 hours before I go to bed, I'm likely to sleep through the night. And that's what began to happen. And every now and then I forget to take it, and when I forget to take it, oh no. And when I get up in the morning, I can't get up on this side. I gotta reach back and pull myself over to get out of the bed this way. Do you hear what I'm saying? Then the ego said, you better go to the doctor. I said, no, I'm gonna go when I'm ready to go. Why do you go to the doctor? When you're ready for a confirmation. You want the professional to see. You want to use their stuff just to register to see that you see from this sense, what I need to go back and work on from this sense, but not from the other way. So, remember I told you I went to, because I had that's why I went to the doctor, not for the arthritis. Because I had been doing something for a number of weeks upon myself. Every day and every way. I am getting better and better is what I fell asleep on. But I spend most of my time in Neville's space. Neville's been gone for a long, long time. But his spirit is with me in my room. And I'm going through this material. I'm absorbed in it. You know I am. And I'm preparing to work with you every week, but I'm practicing what I'm reading to you and what I'm doing. I'm practicing this stuff. So by the time I get to the doctor for the sore, for the canker thing, she said, oh, is there something else that I can do for you? And I said, oh, by the way. So she already told me, walk on your feet already. I said, I've been dealing with a condition that I've called arthritis. And I described to her what it is and how it's been working in my body and so forth and so on. And so what she decided to do is because she was not my regular physician, I went to her on an urgent care day, an immediate, what's called urgent care visit. So she was not my regular doctor. So after listening to my thing, she had taken care of the urgent care problem. So then she said she's going to refer this to the doctor, to my main doctor, set an appointment, and at the same time set up some physical therapy, follow-up, and da-da-da-da-da. I said, okay. She said, but what we're going to do in the meantime, I'm going to send you down to x-ray so that they can x-ray this where I was complaining about with arthritis. But before she did that, I had been to Costco. And I had bought this big old supply of Tylenol, unopened. Remember, this was just me. I don't intend to open this. And then I got all of this big old double dose of ibuprofen. You know why? Because I got arthritis. Okay, listen to me. But I've been every day and every way I am getting better and better. Remember? And I'm practicing this into the desired fulfilled. Go in your imagination and feeling that it's already done. And I saw myself jumping up here and jumping down with the pain gone. And I said to myself that I'm going to stand in front of the congregation. I'm going to give a demonstration. And this is my testimony of the before and after. That's what I said when I'm going to the finishing room. So she sent me down to x-ray. So the next day I'm reading my email. Oh, I got a message from the doctor. So I went to the online and opened up the message from the doctor, and it says, your x-ray results are normal, no arthritis. Confirmation. The confirmation of what? That my prayer work was done. That it's already done. That day was the last day that I took any Tylenol. That was before Tuesday of last week because I took this, right? I have not taken not one after I read that note from the doctor. Before I read the note from the doctor, I was still taking the Tylenol. Are you listening to me? Once I read the note, I stopped taking the Tylenol, have not taken one since, and the pain is gone. The power of autosuggestion. The power of auto-suggestion. The suggestion had been transformed into auto-suggestion, and reading the email was my confirmation that says, it's already done. When was it already done? I could have stopped taking them a week ago. nobody you're going to use the doctor positively. Use the doctor to work on your team, not to work against you and confirm the negative. Go to the doctor to confirm the positive. That's what you're paying them. Am I right? Things live only as long as I am aware of being them, is our lesson for today. And so, Matthew chapter 18, verse 19. Again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth, as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For them. I did nothing in this situation. He says, with God. With God, all things are possible. So my part in it was doing what we teach, but the healing is done by God. For them. Of my Father. That's the subconscious mind. Of my Father, by my Father, which is, your Father is the subconscious mind, which is in heaven. That's where heaven is. Which is in heaven. Not up there somewhere. My Father which is in my mind. I am a voice. This is from Neville's writing in the chapter at your command. I am a voice calling in the wilderness of human confusion. See, did you hear all of my confusion?
Ooh, yes.
Did you hear all of my confusion? No more than yours. Yours is confusion. All that confusion. I am a voice calling in the wilderness of confusion. And never shall there come a time when that which I am convinced I am shall fail to find me. I want to reread that and shock you. So get ready to be shocked. I said, it reads, I am a voice calling in the wilderness of human confusion. And never shall there come a time when that which I am convinced I am shall fail to find me. There was a conviction in my mind. I had convinced myself that I am sick, that I have arthritis, that I have this foot problem, that I have this and I have that, and that had to find me. Do you see?
Yeah.
So I need you to think about your situation right now, your problem, your challenge, your impasse in a relationship, your problem in finance or provision. You convince yourself of that problem. There's a conviction of it in your mind, and it has defined you, and it'll be there until you convince yourself otherwise.
Yeah.
Until your consciousness changes about it. That's what's sustaining it. The topic of the chapter is things live only as long as I'm aware of being them. The positive in that sentence, the power in that sentence, the positive in that sentence, the empowerment in that sentence are these words. They live only as long. So they're not permanent. Don't have to stay there. Can be terminated and can be changed because it says only as long. Only as long as I am aware of being there. What is the topic? Agreement equals awareness of being. It goes on to read, I am is an open door for all that I am to enter. Is that what? I am, which is your imagination. I am, which is that subconscious mind, is an open door for anything to enter. So if anything can enter, then your power is to be selective about what enters and what does not enter. You stand at the gate. You stand at the door. That's why you have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the gatekeeper, and it directs. Am I right?
Yes.
I am is the open door for all that I am to enter. You could never be in want of proof or the lack of evidence of that which you are aware of being. For that which you are aware of being, it says you will never be in lack of evidence and lack of proof. How do you know? Because I'm sick. How do you know? Because I don't see my way out. How do you know? Because I can't pay this, I don't have, you go on and on and on. That's your proof. That's your evidence. Your world is what it is because of your present consciousness. That's not negative. That's empowering. Because that also says at the same time, my world can be what I want it to be in my present consciousness. Because it says your world is what it is, or your expressions is what it is, because of your present consciousness. The present consciousness means that you can change the consciousness. Isn't that right? Uh-huh. John chapter 1 verse 1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, it says, this very second is what? The beginning. It says, in the beginning was the Word. The beginning is always beginning. Every moment is a new beginning. Not in the beginning, 500 million years ago, the world was created. That's not the beginning that it's talking about. Every new moment is a new beginning. Who's in control of this new moment? The book says the power of life and death is in the tongue. Is in the tongue. What comes out of this in the next moment is going to determine my continued expressions moment by moment. Which means something can be canceled in an instant. In a moment. Something new can be born and reborn in the twinkling of an eye. In a moment. And so I'm going to the doctor to see at what time did it happen. See, you healed 3 days ago and still acting and walking like a sick. But all you need is a word or a suggestion to say you're well. When they show the lab reports, they say, that's all you need. You're paying for it. Go get a lab report. You're paying for it. Go get an x-ray. You're paying for it. You're paying for it. But you just had it, sir. I know, but see, what you don't understand is that I've been going to that workshop. Yeah, but what you don't understand, let me take you to see right there? Give me another picture. Because it says that, behold, I make all things new. It says that I'm in a new body now. The old, that man is dead. The one you took an x-ray of last week, he gone. He's buried. It is done unto you as you believe. Now, this very second is the beginning spoken of. It is the beginning of an urge, a desire. That's what the word, in the beginning was the word. The word is the desire swimming around in your consciousness, seeking embodiment. It is the opposite of the problem. That's the word. It is the announcement of it's already done. That's the word. It is the healing trying to get your attention, saying that that's over.
Yes.
It's the answer to your prayer is the desire that's swimming around in your head. The word is the desire swinging around in your consciousness, seeking embodiment. It wants to come out and be and show up as the new you. The urge of itself has no reality, for I am, or the awareness of being, is the only reality. Well, the rest of this is explaining that. So let me read it again, and then it explains itself as we go forward. For I am, or the awareness of being, that's the answered prayer, is the only reality. Things live only as long as I am aware of being them. Things live. That is also saying this urge, this healing that is knocking at your door is unfulfilled desire, and it's not living yet. It's dead. You got to give it life. It's like in utero. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're pregnant with it. And until it pushes through and you make it breathe, it ain't live yet. But it's there. How do you know? Because you can feel the heart. It's moving in you. It's stress. It's pain. It's agony. It's sickness. It's disturbance. It's upset. It's mad. It's moving. And it'll bother you and worry you until you get it out. You can't walk around here pregnant all 50 years.
Some people are. Some people are.
Yeah. So when you're coming here on Tuesdays, you're coming to the mid-husband, that's all. The midwife, the mid-husband, the coach. Push. Every week you just got, I'm just saying push. Push. Things live only as long as I am aware of being them. So to realize one's desire, to realize that healing, to realize that new birth that's pushing through, the second line of this verse of John must be applied. And that is, and the Word was with God. The Word, or desire, must be fixed or united with consciousness to give it reality. The awareness becomes aware of being the thing desired. I'm going to reread that after I go back to the topic. The topic is agreement equals awareness of being. Agreement is the same as awareness of being. So what you want to understand what awareness of being is, I've said it about 20 times already since I'm standing here, but this stuff we say is caught, not taught. So if you don't get it as clearly as you want to get it, don't confuse yourself and don't be worried about it. Just get the CD and the previous ones that you already have and just do what I do. You listen to them over and over. Do what I do. You read that same chapter over and over. Let's stay in at your command seriously for a few more weeks. You've been on it for a few weeks, and every time you come here, it seems like you haven't heard this before. Am I right? So you don't worry about it. I can look at your face and tell. Chill, relax, take your time, and don't stress with this. Relax. Read that chapter over and over. And then if you get just stuck on the 2 or 3 paragraphs, hang out like I do. I don't move on. I'll stay on that one page. And every time I'm on that same chapter, and I'm supposed to be far more advanced than you in understanding it, but guess what? I stay in it longer than you. And every time I read it, I'm seeing something different. I'm going deeper and deeper. But also, stuff is changing more and more in my life. Okay. The word or desire, that's your prayer request. That's under the line of suggestion. Remember the 2 terms, suggestion and auto-suggestion. Let's keep suggestion on the left side and auto-suggestion on the right side. Suggestion, you put that on the level of the desire, the prayer request, the thing you're working toward, trying to achieve or heal. Now, the word or desire must be fixed or united with consciousness to give it reality. See, you got to give it reality. The awareness becomes aware of being the thing desired. It's explained in what's coming next, which is Mark 11:24, which is right in front of you. Two shall agree as touching what I just said to you is right here, was the interpretation of this scripture that I'm reading. Two shall agree as touching anything, and it shall be established on earth. This agreement is never made between two persons. It is between the awareness and the thing desired. The awareness and the thing desired. Thereby nailing itself upon the form or conception and giving life unto its conception, or resurrecting that which was heretofore a dead or unfulfilled desire. And when I talked about the analogy, I give you a little joke about the impregnation. That's it, right there. The dead or the unfulfilled desire. That's a divine urge that is in your mind that has not been realized yet. You have not brought it forth into reality, into realization, into manifestation, into demonstration. It's calling it the dead or unfulfilled desire. It's only dead because the agreement is not there yet. The suggestion transformed into auto-suggestion that gives it life. And when it gives its life, it's time for it to burst forth. Express through, it's called expression. It will express itself. The awareness and the thing desired. You are now conscious of being. You're always conscious of being something. What is following here is telling you, now choose what you want to be conscious of being. You're either going to be conscious of being sick or conscious of being well. You're going to be conscious of having the house, the car, the relationship, or whatever, or you're conscious of not having it. You're conscious of going there or conscious of not going. You're conscious of the pain going or the pain still. You've got to be conscious of one or the other. Two things can occupy the same space at the same time. You are now conscious of being, so you are actually saying to yourself, without using words, I am. Silently, your mind is always stuck in I am position. So you have to control your feelings at all times, your conversation at all times. I never told anybody about my foot's problem. Or feet. Or foot. Nobody. My niece called me a Sunday before that. They were going someplace where it required a lot of walking. We're going to so-and-so, someplace. And all I could see was walking. I said, no, I'm working on this project, and I think I'm going to hang around today with my remote control. And I was hanging around with Neville in this book. I said, I'm going to stay quiet all day and just, that's what I did all day. But I didn't tell him, I can't go because my feet is hurting. I can't walk. Because they will take that, and now you can't get it out of their mind. Exactly. Here they come running. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing? I ain't your business. When you see me and the bear having a fight, you help the bear. You better go help the bear because I'm coming out of this. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Then I ain't carrying no bad news. Mm-hmm. So, The very second the feeling I am healthy is attained, the two have agreed. That is, I am and health have agreed to be one. And this agreement, what's my topic? What's the topic? Agreement equals awareness of being. That's what awareness of being is, agreement. When that head and heart agrees, when that conscious and subconscious mind agrees, when that feeling nature agrees that this is it, I'm feeling, I got it, I can smell it, I can taste it, I'm doing it. Agree. This agreement ever results in the birth of a child, which is the thing agreed upon. You are ever, you got that, see that on your page? You are ever sent into expression by your awareness. You are. That means your desire, the thing that you're praying for, the thing that you're going, the thing that you want change. Ever sent into expression by your awareness. And your expression is ever that which you are conscious of being. Is that repeating it over and over? All right. Now, here's something to always bear in mind. You cannot put new wine in old bottles. That is, you cannot take with you into the new consciousness any part of the old man. That's why you use the affirmation. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. So, when I rolled over off this side to the other side because there's so much pain, I'm not acknowledging the pain. I'm dismissing it by using the affirmation. Every day in every way, I am getting better. In other words, that's saying what Jesus said, Satan, get thee behind me. That's turning your attention away from the pain, from the problem, to the answer. That's seeing yourself going to the doctor and to hear the confirmation that it's already done, it's not there. That's turning your attention from the problem to the answer. That's making a decision of all the things that you're going to do today because you couldn't do them yesterday. And you didn't see yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Can't take that old complaining and whining and memory of yesterday into today. Because today you're walking in a new body, in a new consciousness, in a new birth. All of your present beliefs and fears and limitations are weights. Weights that bind you to your present level of consciousness. All that was told you yesterday about what you couldn't do because of what you don't have. Am I right? I'm not talking to us. We're talking about people who have issues with demonstrating stuff in their life and money in their life and housing and transportation and material stuff. You know, a lot of people have problems with that stuff. And it's because of what's locked in their consciousness and their mind about experience and what people have told them and the conditions that they placed on themselves and the conditions that people have placed on them. And they're walking into, now they want to go into a new body, into a new... You can't take old wine, old knowledge, old experience, and old conditions, and all other people's experience. Other people ain't got nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. Why? Because I am a unique, divine, unrepeatable miracle that God has let slip through in this life. I have a unique DNA. I have a unique imprint. I have a unique relationship with the Father. I am privileged. I am exceptional. I don't care what. Wait a minute. My book tells me in the 91st Psalms, 10,000 shall fall at thy side, but none shall come nigh thee. 10,000 dead, I'm still standing here with the same thing. With the same condition. 10,000 are homeless with the same financial profile. But look at me. 10,000 are not arrayed like this. Look at me. Looking good all the time. Feeling good. Even though I might have this problem and this challenge. Do you see what I'm saying? Paul said, in all things, I find contentment wherever I am, or whatever I'm dealing with. It's what you're looking from, not what you're looking at. Am I right? It's what you're looking from determines what you see. What you're looking out of determines what you see. Everybody, the same thing is in front of everybody, and everybody's seeing something different according to. All of your present beliefs, fears, and limitations are weights that bind you to your present level of consciousness. So you have to let go of the weights. Because it's binding you into this present consciousness, and it's the present consciousness is what you're aware of being, and that present consciousness has to continue to express itself. Yes. And something is holding it in place and holding it in position. You know what it is. And if you don't know, ask. I asked, and it was revealed. It's your own mind and your own thinking, boy. And so what you think is there is not there. And what you think is there that's not there is what's causing the problem. Am I right? Yeah. What you think is there that is not there is what is causing the problem. And now you want to heal what is not there. And what is not there can't be healed because it's unreal. What is unreal cannot be healed. Like that. What is unreal cannot be healed. But it can kill you. It has killed many people. And many people are dying from what is not real, and many people are being evicted out of their houses and walking with destroying marriages and all kinds of things that happen in life because they are believing that it's real. To do this now, you take your attention away from all that is now your problem or limitation and dwell on just being. To do this now, turn your attention from all that is now your problem or limitation and dwell on just being. When I am reading and studying like you, if there's something that I'm not grasping and there's something that I'm not understanding as clearly as I would want to understand, do you know what? I push it aside for a moment. Then I have a little talk. What was that? I just push it aside for a moment and have a little talk. There's a scripture that says, but he who lacks wisdom, let him ask of God who giveth him liberally. So you stop and you ask God, Lord, help me to understand this more clearly. Not only that, Lord, take me a little further and help me to practice this. Help me to do this. Help me to understand it. Get out of just that and help me to do this. Help me to practice this. And if you think the Lord is too far away that is not listening, ask Neville's spirit. I talked to the spirit of Neville. Come on down. Hey, boy. Hey, brother. I know you're here. Help me to understand this more clearly. Then I hear a voice says, I got you. Hey, come here. Turn to this page. Then I go to a book that I haven't gone before. I go to a page that I've been to before, and there it is. Not only will that work for me, not only does it work for me, it works for you. Ask God, and God will take you to somewhere. It will open your mind, open your spirit, because you don't just want to understand, you want to practice. Ask, and you will receive. That's how I'm getting what I'm getting. To do this, take your attention away from all that is now your problem or limitation and dwell on just being. Just being what? Your unfulfilled desire. The opposite of what you perceive to be the problem. That is what you dwell on. You dwell on health because the opposite is sickness. You dwell on material, on prosperity and abundance instead of stress and strain. You dwell on seeing yourself, performing your service for perfect pay. When there is a need for an employment, a need for opportunity to earn some money as a result of giving your talent. I see it that way instead of looking for a job. Looking for work, looking for a job. Well, then that's what you'll get. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's your level of consciousness and that's where you are. But I used to be there. I ain't there no more. Perfect service for perfect pay. Giving me more than what I think I'm worth, according to the value as you perceive me. Because I want to limit myself. That's why I don't charge for stuff. How much you charge? I don't charge nothing for nothing. Because I'm not limiting myself. Do you hear what I'm saying? Never have. Never have. Pressed down, shaken together, and running. Oh, okay. Do not condition this awareness. Okay. Now, we're about to close. We're not going anywhere near where I am wanting to finish today, just like last week. Okay. Let's close. Let's stop right here. Okay. We keep on going. Do not condition this awareness. Start off right, you end up right. Do not condition means do not start entertaining any thought of how this is going to come to pass. How this is going to happen. When this is going to happen. Now you're putting conditions out there. And it is done unto you as you believe. That's your consciousness. That's a weight. Do not condition this awareness. Just declare yourself to be. And continue to do so until you are lost in the feeling of just being. What helps you to do this every day, in every way? I am getting better and better. That's thought block. That blocks off all thoughts of conditions, of speculation, of doubt, of questioning, and wondering, and waiting, and checking other stuff. You know, leave God alone. Stay out of my business. My ways are beyond finding out. I have ways that you know not. I'll make you bite your lip. I'll make you bite your lip and make you turn into a canker sore. So you have to go to the doctor because you won't go. Huh? I have been not going to the doctor. And I wasn't going to go until I bit my lip. That made me go. And when I get there, he gave me an announcement. All of this stuff that's been bothering you is well. It's already done. Now go. So now, I go back to Costco and get my money back. I don't have a receipt. That's why I shop at Costco. I don't have that receipt. I just give it back. And these shoes, I bought them a year ago, never wore them. Because Spirit knew I was going to be stupid. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I bought them for such a time as this. Yeah. And now I wear them. I went back yesterday and got me another pair, different color. So I can walk in comfort. Art support. That's all I need was art support. And they would have given me a whole list of stuff. You need to cut this down and we're going to operate on this thing. Am I right? Oh. Do not condition this awareness. Just declare yourself to be and continue to do so until you are lost in the feeling of the wish and the desire fulfilled. And so it is. Yes.
Let me hold this so you can speak clearly.
Hi, I'm Tessa. About a month ago, I was at Agape and I started getting weak and I was really hot and sweaty. And before I had gone into the choir, I logged ahead. The voice had said, bring water, bring a fan. I didn't listen to the voice, went up there anyway. So then I started feeling dizzy. So I got down, and some people saw me. I sat down in a chair outside the sanctuary, and they ended up calling the ambulance. Before the ambulance got there, Reverend Coco did a prayer for me. I didn't want to go by ambulance. And she did a prayer for me. I'm there at the hospital. They're doing all these tests and everything. And before the blood tests even came back, I was feeling better. And I said, I know. And so, you know, I called my friend and said, you can pick me up. And they said, no, we want to keep you overnight because it shows that your white blood count's so elevated. And I said, but I feel fine. I said, they said, but you came in here with, you know, I said, I know, but people have been praying for me in church. So I'm fine, I'm going. And I said, and the blood tests also showed that I was dehydrated. I said, I was just dehydrated. I said, what did they give you at the hospital? I said, water. I said, that's really all I needed. I just sweat so much that I needed water. And it was like, you know, then people I carried, you know, saying, how are you? You know, like I'm saying, like I had forgotten about that condition because it was like, it's over, it's in the past, you know, it's like, and then they keep bringing up, you know, it's like, well, Reverend Michael prayed for you at the, you know, last month, and I'm like, yeah, and you didn't expect that I was going to get healed from that prayer? So sometimes it's just, people hold you in that space of unhealth, and then you know, it's like, but then at the same time, they can also hold you in the space of health and wholeness even when you're not experiencing it, and you can still get
To where you were. You got it. Yes.
So I had a brain aneurysm, and so when they went in and repaired it, several months later, they went back to check it out. But my body has always healed quickly, and I've always affirmed it. I've had evidence of that. So they went in and they saw it, and they said, well, it looks like it's bleeding through the clamp that's in there. And so I didn't do anything about it, but just affirmed that I'm well. 2 months later, they did a MRA, and it was all healed.
But listen to what you said, and that's a belief that you have ingrained.
Yes.
There's a track in your subconscious mind. No, is that my body always heals quickly. You see, that it is done unto you as you believe, but you believe, and there's a conviction there, is that my body always heals quickly. I have that same kind of track in my mind, that my body will always reveal to me exactly what it is that I need to do for self-correction. And that's what happens to me. When things like this happen, I learn to listen and sense, and I will hear, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. And it turns out that then I go to the doctor, and the doctor says, confirm. Let me hold this.
Yes, as I was growing up, I often felt misunderstood by my mother. And one morning, I couldn't get into my medication, so I just started writing about my mother. And I wrote. So, long story short, that evening, I was on my way to an event, and I'm in the fast lane on the freeway. And I heard, sometimes I wish Mama had understood me better. Sometimes I wish that I had better understood Mama. That was new. Then I wish that Mama had better understood Mama, and I had better understood me. But if we had better understood we, I had no idea who I'd be. And I like me, and I like Mama.
So let's close with prayer. And if you cannot rattle your paper and go in your bags and rattle your candy paper, I would appreciate it. Did everybody hear that? Thank you. It's distracting. Let's just take some deep breaths. Let's just breathe in through your nostrils. And as you breathe in, feel that abdominal region of your body expand. Let's just breathe in through your nostrils. Feel that abdominal region, your stomach, just expanding with this breath. And then exhale through your lips, slightly parted. Let's continue to breathe in deeply. And this time, let's hold that breath as long as it is comfortable for you to do so each time. Knowing that you're going to then release that breath through your lips, slightly parted. And as you are exhaling, releasing that breath, you feel that abdominal region just collapsing, letting go. Each doing it to his own comfort. Breathing in, holding that breath. Exhaling slowly, releasing that breath. But then as you inhale deeply and hold that breath, you're going to use the creative power of imagination. And you're going to imagine that breath transforming itself into light. 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 And this is divine light. This is the light of God, meaning it comes from God through your imagination. And this light is lighting up the darkness. Feeling that cranial area. And this light now shines away all darkness, dark thoughts, all negative thoughts that have embedded itself in your conscious mind. This light transformed those negative thoughts and negative beliefs and negative ideas and thoughts of fear, doubt, and worry, transforming these thoughts into the opposite of those thoughts. Thoughts of sickness now being transformed to thoughts of health. Thoughts of difficulty being transformed into thoughts of strength and I can do all things. Thoughts of lack and limitation being transformed into thoughts of wealth and abundance and opulence. Thoughts of resentment and hatred transformed into thoughts of love and forgiveness and letting go. This light that you're breathing in and holding that breath is the light of God that doeth the works. And these now become the thoughts that find its way into your subconscious realm of mind as you exhale. Breathe in and then exhale slowly. And as you're exhaling, you're using the creative power of imagination, and you're imagining these new thoughts, the opposite of the sickness and the doubt and the worry and all of that stuff, being released into your subconscious mind, where the Father is. These thoughts are your suggestions, your aspirations, your prayer requests, being received now by the Father in your subconscious mind, the kingdom of heaven. And in this is the suggestion being transformed into auto-suggestion, the perfect agreement. And in this agreement is that new state of mind that you find yourself in and is taking it right here and right now in the name of Jesus, doing it as Jesus did it and would do it and taught us how to do. Say thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, because now you're in the I am consciousness of it is already done. In the name of Jesus. It is this state of being now that we're in that perfect agreement because the head and the heart has agreed. I and the Father have become one, and we are fixed and united in this state of consciousness of I am healed, I am well, it is done, it is finished. And we we prepare ourselves to walk out of this door, going out not the way we came in, going back another way. Going back in God's way. Going back with a new understanding. Going back with a changed perception. Going back to establish the fact, the truth, that those appointments that are now in your calendar for whoever and wherever, or you make new ones only for the purpose of going for other eyes to see what you have seen here in this moment. So you're going for a confirmation of that which is already done. That change that has already taken place in your now, when others see you, they see you transformed, reborn in a new body, in a new conscience, in a new state of being. And all that they see is a confirmation of what has happened here in this place. And that's all you expect to hear and all you expect to see. You're going back into a changed world because you're coming from a changed world, a new attitude, a new belief, a new person. Behold, I make all things new. And it's in this consciousness that you live, move, and have your being now, henceforth, and forevermore. And we say together, thank you, Father, Mother God. Come on. Thank you, Father, Mother God. Come on. Thank you, Father, Mother God. Amen. And so it is.